overall the end of the game, which was not as many as well you would hope they'll be back at this time, anyways. But to have a couple of fans back in the stadium was brilliant for the boys. Just playing in front of a crowd again. Hopefully, this is more of things to come, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks we'll be seeing bigger crowds. More of a sort of return to pre-lockdown and pre-COVID with regards to the attendances in the stadium. But there's nothing pre-COVID about Wales' performance on the weekend. I thought we were actually pretty good. Just to go back to what the final score was. So the final score in the end was Wales 68, Canada 12, and I thought the Wales were fully deserved of the points margin, and Canada were fully deserved as well with their sort of. It does look like a bit of a pasting, and it really was that, in fairness. Unfortunately, there were a couple of key things in the game to take away. First of all, from the Canadian point of view, I think you've seen over the last 2 years that Major League Rugby has given a platform now for semi-professional and even then professional rugby players, Canadian rugby players, to get that higher standard of rugby that they need. But also, I think that what we have to put into context with this result is that Canada themselves have diverted away quite a lot of resources from their 15s game to the sevens. I mean, you've got the Olympic sevens coming up this year as well. There's a number of Canadian 15s players that weren't available for the game, like Tyler Ardron and DTH Van der Merwe as well in the past. But Canada did look really bereft of any quality really on the field. There's no questioning any sort of heart or desire or just pure sort of grit in the game. That came through quite a lot, and the sort of enthusiasm for the game as well was definitely there on show. But I think when it did come down to it, of the ins and outs of top level elite rugby, I think that they were found wanting on a number of occasions. So I mean, what I was able to see, and what the takeaways really for Canada from this game was that I think that they did well second half. I mean, the score was the second half only 28-7, but Wales scored in injury time as well, so really it was only three tries conceded in the second half. I know Wales made quite a lot of changes around the hour mark, which maybe disrupted the flow of the game, but in fairness to Canada, they shut up shop a little bit better in the second half, and were unlucky, I thought, just after half time not to have been given either a penalty try or Wales to be put down a yellow card, and Canada maybe scoring after half time because they had a lot of pick and go pressure in front of the Welsh posts, but it didn't come of anything. And I think that looking back, they just were a little bit inaccurate really. The referee was pretty good, in fairness. The Georgian referee who did this game on the weekend is absolutely superb. He's better than the referees we've actually got who's going to be on the Lions duties at the moment. People like Andrew Brace and Matt Carley are absolutely shocking referees compared to this fella from Georgia. He's absolutely spot on, in fairness to him. But Canada got to get a tough game against England in Twickenham next week. It's not going to get any better for them, I don't think. I think you're going to see a very similar scoreline, if not worse. England did play today, so they had a tough game under their belt against the USA. But in Canada, I think that the USA's performance today, they were very, very competitive against England, and on the scoreboard as well. This scoreline does really show the gulf, I think, is opening up now between Canada and the other teams of the Americas at the moment as well. I mean, you're seeing teams such as Chile and Brazil becoming actually more of a recognised tier 2 force on the level of Canada. I mean, Argentina could put out the second string and probably comfortably beat Canada at this point as well, where in the past it was always very competitive. If not Canada, would probably turn them over, a few times out of 10. But I think that Canadian rugby, is definitely geared towards the sevens program at the moment, and hence why the 15s game is suffering. But anyways, that's enough on Canada Rugby. Well done for them taking their 2 tries. I thought they were very well taken tries. The one after Lee Halfpenny's injury on the 5th minute was really well finished off by the winger. He was quite good actually. Kyona Lloyd, really, really good. And the full back, I know he dropped a couple of balls, but I was quite impressed because he's a young guy as well, which was Cooper Coates. He was pretty good as well. But so Canada, a lot to work on. Structures of their game will be there. They've got a good coaching ticket as well, so they just need more time with the players, and just need a little bit more time on conditioning because they were really blowing for oxygen after about 20-25 minutes against Wales. I think the pace of the game really took it out of them. They were losing collisions pretty much all the time. No set piece, absolutely no foothold in the game whatsoever. The only foothold was that Wales is indiscipline. But overall, judging by the opposition that Wales faced, I thought they did a pretty decent job in the first half. They didn't really let up, and that's one thing Wales always tend to get dragged into when they play tier 2 countries or countries in tier 1 that they should be beating. They tend to get drawn into their own game, and the scoreline, it becomes a bit of an arm wrestle and a slog. I've seen plenty of times at the Millennium Stadium where Wales have scraped past Tonga, lost to Samoa, scraped past Fiji, drawn with Fiji, lost to Argentina, scraped past Argentina, and it's been really uncomfortable, playing against some teams which you would really think that you should be beating. And I thought that the ruthlessness really, which I saw in the first half for Wales, was really, really good, and was quite impressive really to see. The boys did really step it up and play well, I thought, especially in the first half. Thomas Williams was absolutely superb. Just the ball getting away from the ruck ball was just amazingly quick. I don't think I've ever seen Wales generate that quick ruck ball before, and it just totally annihilated any sort of defensive shape that the Canadians tried to put into place. But the boys' desire, the front 5 in particular, and Ross Moriarty to come around the corner and carry. I thought Will Rowlands had a very good game. Ben Carter was man of the match and was superb. But I like Moriarty as well. I think judging by the opposition, taking that into account, I thought Moriarty did play pretty well. Made his tackles, carried very, very well. Jonathan Davis carried well. The new camp boys did very, very well on the wing. Tom Rogers, excellent. I thought Tompkins did alright when he came on the wing out of position as well. Jonah Holmes was excellent. He's in lethal try-scoring form at the moment, and if we do get an injury in the back 3, especially after the Lions tour is over for the Six Nations or the autumn, then he's not going to be a bad player to have, especially if he maintains his try-scoring form as well. He was pretty good. But the boys who come on were excellent. I like the look of Gareth Thomas at prop. Tame Basham scored 2 tries and didn't really have to work for him really, but he played pretty well when he came on. Ben Thomas as well, he ran the game pretty well when he came on, looked very comfortable. Kieran Hardy's just superb. Scrum half and back row for Wales at the moment are really, really strong positions, and we got quite a lot of depth there at the moment, which is brilliant. But hats off to the front 5. The boys could really sort of, let loose a little bit more in the second half. And I think the changes did maybe disrupt all at once when mass changes come on. Tip of the hat to Josh Turnbull as well for coming back to the international fray as well. Massive shame about Lee Halfpenny. As soon as I seen him go down, I thought he's done it. He's done a knee there. You could see it a mile away. Planted that leg, and just it's a massive shame for him. It's the 100th cap as well. I really hope that we do get to see him in a Wales shirt again, because that ACL, I don't know whether it's the same knee that he's done before, but that ACL takes a good 12 to 18 months recovery. And he's, when you think about it, Lee was already behind the 3 boys who've gone to with the Lions: Josh Adams, Rhys Sammet, and Liam Williams. So it's going to be very, very tough, even at the later age, to come and work his way back in. But he's superbly Halfpenny, so I'd rather have him involved than not. He's never let Wales down, and just a massive shame for him to go off. Really, it just took the edge off the game. It was only just after kick off as well, But I think looking forward, a little bit of a preview now to
the Argentina game next week. I didn't manage to get tickets, unfortunately, but I did get tickets for the week after. So the second test against Argentina, I will be going to in the Millennium Stadium. Hopefully, there'll be a little bit of a bigger crowd. That is on the 17th of July, but the next test is on the 10th of July. Wales will be looking to field a very strong team against Argentina. This is really Argentina sort of officially there at home, although it is in the Principality, just because Wales are due to tour South America against Uruguay and Argentina before the whole COVID situation shut that off. But Argentina are a serious rugby country, and you look at how they performed in the Tri-Nations last year, turned over the All Blacks for the first time. I thought they should have really. Although Australia are coming force again in World Rugby, I thought that they should have put Australia away twice. Were very unlucky then when they played the All Blacks a second time, and that was a close game as well. So, I think that when Ledesma's obviously a superb coach. They've got X factor all over the field now. Really good athletes in that front pack and in the back line as well. A lot of it revolves around Sanchez at 10. So if he is playing, then I would actually tilt in favour of Argentina winning the game because I think he's that good. But one of the ones you don't see on the field, which I think is a bigger influence, is whether Michael Cheika will still be involved with Argentina. I thought he was, massively important to, setting their mentality and a lot of sort of consultation work with the coaching staff in the Tri-Nations last year, and you could see his sort of, his typical sort of Aussie exuberance rub off on Argentina, and remove that sort of fear factor of playing anybody who wears a black shirt as well. That's just totally gone. Argentina, very much similar to Ireland a couple of years ago when they dispelled the All Black sort of hoodoo and myth. I think that they're going to be a sort of very respectable, really serious rugby country over the next few years. And I will say I am tilting in favour of Argentina next week, just because I can only go off what the last few performances they've had. Wales are probably missing about 10 of their, what you would say, first choice players or regular players. Although we did give Canada a bit of a tune-in on the weekend, you've got to take into account the level of opposition and the step up against Argentina, especially if Argentina bring their A game. It may be a little bit too much for Wales to claw back, but it's going to be a tight game either way, I think, anyways, next week. So hopefully Wales will be able to, if Wales win next week, I'll be very, very surprised, but really happy as well, because to beat an Argentina side, even with your best choice players, would be a huge feat, especially in lieu of their recent results, like I said. So so just to wrap up, Canada, a lot of work on is really. Wales, well done for the new cap, boys, and it's starting to knit together quite nicely as well now. We didn't really get tested in defence, but we will do next week, so Gethin Jenkins will definitely be earning his coin next week, and hopefully the boys can take the try scoring form as well into it, because when we looked as if we were playing with a good sort of wide and getting the boys coming off that angle, playing off 9, I thought we looked very, very dangerous against Canada. They just couldn't get off the floor quick enough, they couldn't reload the defence quick enough. But next week will be a totally different ask, because we'll be losing collisions instead of totally dominating the contact area, and Argentina will be able to slow ball down, which Canada weren't able to do on the weekend. So well done Wales, brilliant, convincing scoreline. So 68-12 it was overall. Canada, lots to work on. They will have some players coming back later on, but like I said in earlier videos with the internationals this summer, brilliant opportunity for tier 2 countries to play tier 1 nations. They've been screaming about it for years. It should have been happening on a more regular basis by now as well. It doesn't matter what the gulf is at the moment. Getting tier 2 nations like Canada playing the game again, coming to Cardiff, irrespective of the scoreline, and playing. They look to improve over the coming weeks, and hopefully when they play against England next week, it'll be a better showing. But